Mexico is in crisis. Mexico has a huge problem with drugs, its abuse, and the power dispute between cartels. Awareness hasn't been spread necessarily enough to be considered a national issue of relevance. People are becoming more and more dependent on drugs, and the battle hasn't been almost lost. We need to do something about it. We need to act, and even if we are not to fight directly, we can inform our community about the issue.
Marijuana is produced in nearly every country worldwide. As we can see in this map, marijuana is not legal worldwide. According to a study made in London, marijuana is the most popular illegal drug used worldwide. There is approximately 25% of global production of it, and the highest level of cannabis herb production takes place in Africa. North America accounts for 70% of global seizures, particularly concentrated in Mexico and the United States, followed by Africa 11% and South America 10%. It is estimated that between 125 and 203 million people, between 2.8% and 4.5% of the world population aged 15 to 64, used cannabis at least once during the past year in 2009. It may cause addiction or even several damages to the brain and the human body. The Ottawa Prenatal Prospective Study (OPPS), the Maternal Health Practices and Child Development (MHPCD) study, examined the relationship between marijuana exposure and developmental problems throughout the childhood. Children of women who smoked one or more marijuana joints a day during the first trimesters were more likely to exhibit deficits in school achievement, particularly in reading and spelling. Also, prenatal marijuana exposure had negative effects through age 16 on high-order thinking, including problem-solving, memory, planning, impulsivity, and attention. This is a worldwide effect of marijuana. Marijuana can be an expensive habit. A regular smoker of high-quality marijuana can spend $350 per week on his or her habit. There are many illegal ways to provide marijuana to the people, and it's called narco-trafficking. That is why sometimes has been tough to legalize it. Its legalization would create a new industry that may turn fuel a local business with a staggering potential economic impact. According to a survey in the USA by the National Cannabis Industry Association and the Colorado Medical Marijuana Industry, generated more than $181 million in sales since 2010. The director of the NCIS, Aaron Smith, said that the number of employers might increase with the legalization. Meanwhile, in Mexico, according to the government estimates, the production of marijuana is 35 million pounds last year on hidden hilltop fields in Mexico's Sinaloa state, reachable only by donkey. A pound of pot might earn a farmer $25. The wholesale in Phoenix would be higher, and so the Mexican cartel would be selling 20 billion worth of marijuana in the US market each year. Mexico is one of the main producers and exporters of marijuana worldwide. In an estimate, we can say that the marijuana industry gains around 35 million US dollars, and that's a main problem because this money has to be laundered by the criminal organizations, so economy is really affected. There are 7 really well-known cartels in Mexico, which are La Familia Michoacán, el Cártel del Golfo, los Zetas, la Organización Beltrán Leiva, el Cártel de Sinaloa, el Cártel de Tijuana y el Cártel de Juárez. Because the main lucrative business in these cartels are the exportation of marijuana to the US, that causes rivalry between them. And we can see in the government of Felipe Calderón Hinojosa, he stole a war between these cartels that only developed socioeconomic issues. Mexico lost in 2009 15% of its tourism income, and it keeps descending because of the drug war. The corruption, the assassinations, the kidnappings are only a few problems that this drug war has created. Another problem is the marketing in Mexico. In consequence of the drug cartels, they often make restaurants and other stores to pay them big amounts of money because they believe that the ground belongs to them, and this has caused that many Mexican stores and restaurants close their doors. Also, we can state that the transnational enterprises are reducing their investment in Mexico since 2007, as we can see in this graph. Also, in this other graph, we can state that the number of deaths linked to the organized crime of drug cartels is increasing since 2007. And in the US, the problem is equally as bad. There are 20 states and the District of Columbia that allow the use of marijuana for medical purposes only, and two other states, Colorado and Washington, have legalized the recreational use of the drug, and this has caused that many other states are fighting to legalize the recreational use of marijuana too. So some new problems that the legalization of the recreational use of marijuana are that since the financial transactions of marijuana business are considered illegal under federal law, banks are required to file suspicious activity reports on those entities, and that has caused a type of money laundering. Also, the marijuana possession is strongly linked with the violent crime rates, as we can see in this graph. In the US, like Mexico, there are problems involving crime, drug lords, corruption, money laundering, to name a few. Many experts in the US argue that it would be pointless to allow the population the consumption because the selling of the very product represents a small amount of the total income for the drug lords, less than 16%. Even it's argued that there may be an increment of violence in a short term. Experts from the UN say the drug cartel is extremely adaptable to changes in the market given the history of alcohol, which followed a similar process in the past. Experts agree that this will only force the drug lords to seek new substances and new ways to earn money without marijuana. The Mexican government initiated a campaign against the consumption of marijuana. This was made through the Centro de Integración Juvenil, which sent a message to the people saying that it is necessary to support the no legalization of this drug by gathering signatures around the country. In less than 1 month, the institution collected over 200,000 signatures from people. Also, the Secretaría de Gobernación has been making campaigns through social programs in which the people receive information and support them, making an emphasis on the importance of prevention about marijuana and drugs in general. Also, in the last 10 years, the government has implemented the use of inclusion of this type of information and education program, making the children more conscious about drugs in general. Mexicans have more violence than them, even if all weapons that kill our citizens come from our northern neighbors. In conclusion, we think that a better treatment is not the right solution. The solution starts from education and simple consciousness about the drug abuse. It is way better to prevent thousands of people than to treat them all. It's not about healing the damage, but to avoid any damage on our health and our economy as a country. We need to treat it right and fight this problem directly and without proposing inefficient solutions suggested only by desperation, taking into account the country in which we live in, whose people is not ready, and the internal war won't stop only because one single drug goes out of the market. For drug dealers, they are adaptable and certainly will find a new way. A national issue. It is a national issue which much concerns us all regarding the economical and social position we have. People and government must work hard and together in order to have a better country to ourselves.